Iconoclast Speaks.
Welcome back to the Iconoclast Speaks. I am the Iconoclast, and this is F-Boy.
What's up? Oop, I'm not going to crack open a beer. Okay, I'll crack it open.
That's what I like to hear. Boom.
What's up, guys?
That means the beginning of a new episode. So this week we're going to talk about pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
And then also kind of the opioid epidemic that's going on. And what's going on, what we can do, how we can change things, and like what it's all about. Like personally, I think that a lot of doctors prescribes medication, and I can't prove it, but I think they get a kickback of some kind where they're like that's also kind of like the whole flu vaccine. I'm also like we know like this past flu season it did nothing. Like it's been the worst flu, and people have gotten in. The CDC even came out and said they had the wrong viruses in it, so it really didn't stop the flu at all. But doctors were still saying, no, you need to get it.
Yeah, I never get I got a flu shot once.
Yeah.
Because my mama told me to. Mm-hmm. And I was like, all right, mama. And then that was the one year that I was like, I got sick like 7 times. Never got a flu shot ever again.
Yeah.
And now maybe I'll get like a minor cold once a year, but that year was horrific. So, and like when I was, because I had surgery on my stomach like 6-7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I had to be on all these prescriptions, and I felt like crap. I was losing weight. I just like looked like crap. Once I stopped taking it, my body like recovered. I just ate healthy again. I didn't drink beer as much. Yeah. So
now you're down to like only three beers a day.
30 packs a day.
Oh, okay, 30 packs.
Not just a few.
All right, but like I know, like for me, like a few years ago, before I was married, I got food poisoning, and I was actually supposed to come up and meet your family. Mm-hmm. But I got food poisoning, and your sister thought I was making it up.
Yeah, you liar.
No, I did.
You got nervous.
No, but I got food poisoning.
You were scared. You thought I was going to beat you up.
No, mistake one is I ate no, I didn't think you were going to beat me.
Yeah, he did.
Mistake one, I ate a Walmart sandwich. A
Walmart sandwich. Why?
And I don't know, but I got food poisoning from it. Then they put me on this antibiotic for it, and the antibiotic made me feel worse. Like 3 days later on the antibiotic, I still felt horrible. So I just like, you know what, I just quit taking it, and within 24 hours of stopping the antibiotic, I felt great.
Yeah, I still kind of want to make fun of you for eating food from Walmart.
Yeah,
like
that's a whole nother show.
Like, yeah, I know. I just real quick, I just want to make fun of you for it.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Yeah, no, I've never done it since. Like, gross. I've never bought a sandwich at midnight from Walmart.
I'm hungry. Let's go to Walmart.
Well, it was the only place open at midnight.
Yeah, starve.
But we're talking about pharmaceutical drugs and how people jump on that to placate illnesses or, take. And then they get on them. For instance, we have the opioid epidemic, and that stems from people getting hurt or injured, having different surgeries.
They'll
like you did.
Percocet and
and they're like, here you go.
Yeah. I was on Dilaudid, or however you say it, Dilaudid, for my surgery. And I did a jiu-jitsu tournament, and I had to go to the hospital for 5 days. And they're like, you want some Dilaudid? And I was like, I wasn't going to turn it down. I was like, I know what that's going to do. It's going to make me feel awesome while I'm in this hospital. Mm-hmm. And so I did it. And I was like, holy cow, like, it's heroin, pretty much. It is. It's like times 50 billion probably. But people get off of it, and like say like in the Frederick area, if like they can't get a prescription, they just go to Baltimore. Baltimore is like a huge drug city, and you just get it super cheap.
And then you get in,
and then they even have heroin pills now.
Really?
Yeah, I thought you had to inject it, but heroin pills. So like, or it might not be heroin, but it's like the same effect of heroin or something. Yeah. So I think, I've had buddies that have passed away. I've had multiple in Frederick. St. Augustine, I haven't heard of anybody really, but I also haven't lived there as long. But I'm sure some people. I don't know.
Well, I know, like for me, I have a friend who got a few years ago before It's like right when we got married. I got married. I had a friend, and I won't say his name because he's in jail now. But he was addicted to opioids, and he.
Hold on, you're gonna have to start over. I'm gonna have to explain what happened.
All right.
My dad was coming out of the living room and he was like singing softly. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, oh, oh." And it just threw off. It threw off the iconoclast. What's your name
The
again?
iconoclast. Yeah.
Iconoclast. Yeah.
That's right, F boy. So, anyway, back to my
go
story.
back to your
That was heart wrenching, and then you laughed in the middle of it. Sad, talking about a guy on opioids, and then
Yeah.
So he had surgery from because he was in an accident. He had to get this surgery, and then he got, I don't know what drug he got prescribed, but if you knew him, you never even knew this. Like, I had no idea he was addicted to this stuff, and he was like, but he was. But you would hang out with him, and you had no idea. And then that he lived in Florida, and he robbed 5 or 6 pharmacies because
Jeez.
the way the pharmacies were if you showed up and you had like a jacket on and you're like, give me whatever it is, they would just give it to you because they were told don't, but he was on camera 5 times, and even though he didn't have a gun, Florida laws were, even if you make someone think it's a gun, they consider it a gun.
Yeah.
And so he got the hammer put on him, and he's like, I guess he got 25 years for doing
Jeez.
this, and he's still in jail now. And this was,
That sucks.
he's probably
dumb. Sorry.
yeah.
Dumb.
Well, he was addicted, and
But yeah,
like,
that makes.
and it ruined his life, ruined his marriage, everything. But it like, I think a lot of times these doctors give these things, and especially back then, and I don't know if it's gotten any better, where they're just like, here, take this, this will help, and then they don't say, hey, you can only, be on it like 2 days, and then we got to get you off it,
Yeah.
But,
It scares me, like, when people are even, like, on, like Adderall. Like, I've seen people in my life be on Adderall, and, like, they're, like, a completely different person. Yeah, they work 18 hours straight because they're, like, all
yeah.
zipping back and forth, but they just act weird. Like, they're not, it's like they're not even themselves, and it's like, that's one of the weirdest drugs to me. And then also, shoot, what was I gonna say?
Vicodin.
Well, also, like, people that are depressed, like, I don't think we do, like, I think more people should either talk to, like, therapists and hopefully therapists that aren't, like you
Prescribing.
you should take this. Like,
Yeah.
talking to some people. I think we need to build more community in society where we're actually engaging and listening to people, because a lot of times we just like, oh, let's take this pills and
It'll make you better.
make you better. You don't have to feel the fear or the depression, that anxiety that's like built up into your chest, and it's like all fiery and you feel like shit. I think it's important to feel that, because when something good does eventually happen, you're just like, wow, like I got better, like I got progress, and like that's so much better than like a drug. Like I'm drinking a beer, and that's pretty much like a drug, and you, like the next day, like if you hammer too many beers, you're like,
That was a mistake.
that was a mistake. You
Oh,
you get anxiety because you're dehydrated. You don't have the right nutrients in you. That's another thing, is probably some of these people who are depressed on different drugs. It's like, maybe you're just low in vitamin B.
Yeah, and
Maybe
then
you just need to eat more sweet potatoes. Or
yeah,
something.
well, then also, like, when you get on these certain drugs, like the depression ones, when you try to wean yourself off them, then you go like psychotic a lot of times. The effects of trying to get it off yourself, you have to go to someone specifically to help you get off the drug. And a lot of people are like, man, I can do it myself, and then they can't, and then they end up killing themselves or somebody else.
And like what's happened to like a couple of my friends is they do finally get clean. They're crushing it. They're working out. They're doing amazing things. And then they have a bad day or something. And then they go back to it. And then they go back to it as if they can take what they used to take. And their bodies aren't used to that dosage, and they just like
It overdose.
it kills them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, and the sad thing is, I think we're doing it even to our kids at an early age. You got this ADHD, and people are like, well, get them on whatever. I don't even know what the ADHD drug is, but
We do it with everything. We do it with our food. We do it with pills. We do it with
Well, yeah, it's like
I was looking at Flintstones vitamins, and it was like all these different chemicals in a Flintstone vitamin.
Yeah.
I'm like, we are feeding these to our kids, and not knowingly, we're marketed by a company that like, oh, Flintstone, like, oh, this is like a childhood like show, like the Flintstones wouldn't harm us.
Yeah.
And then
red, red 40.
Yeah, or like maybe these things aren't that bad, but it's like we haven't done the research on certain things, and like we're just like putting chemicals in. We're just like, oh, who cares? It's a cheap ingredient. Let's put it in the product.
Yeah, it makes it taste good.
Makes it taste good. People might buy it,
and it's pretty.
It's pretty. It's red and
purple,
and it's like you get a whole bunch of different colors, and you might get a little bit of vitamins, but you're getting really cool colors. And
so it changes your poop color.
I hope it doesn't do that. Beets do that.
Yeah, so does Fruit Loops.
I don't eat Fruit Loops because I'm a grown man.
All right. I am too.
We just talked about how you're like, yeah, I haven't been eating processed food.
I don't even have Fruit Loops. I don't even have Fruit Loops, man. I'm just telling you, when I had Fruit Loops, it was kind of like the corn. Like when you eat corn and years later, there's corn.
High fructose corn syrup.
Well, I'm talking corn, not corn syrup.
But still, corn is in a whole bunch of stuff.
I know, corn syrup and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think a lot of the blame for the different opioid epidemics isn't just the person. I think it's the doctors need to be pulling back and working with holistic type of people like masseuses.
But that would be stupid because this is a huge
industry.
A huge industry to make a lot of money.
Right.
Like, you might as well take advantage of that. Like, if money is something that you're passionate about and you want, get into this, because it's easy to convince people to take a drug. It's not easy to convince people to drink more water. It's not easy to convince people to get more sleep. It's not easy to tell people to talk things out with other people.
Yeah. Or
it's not like
go to the gym.
It's not easy. Like it's not easy to do the things that are actually right for you. It's actually really hard. It's easy to take a pill.
Right.
It's easier to think about short term rather than long term. Like, why would you think about the effects of Ambien 20 years from now? Who cares if it gives you dementia 20 years from now? Right now you're depressed. Fix it.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
We're in the quick fix it, society, and then and our attention spans are very short. Yeah, and it all goes back to MTV. They screwed everything up.
I love MTV. I remember Spring Break.
Yeah.
I used to watch that when I was like 9. I was 8, 7. Just one of my childhood years.
MTV, just watch it.
I would watch that.
You should have been around
when my parents would come by, or my grandparents would come by. I'd change the channel, like, what's up, guys? And I'm like sweating bullets.
Yeah, because you're watching MTV.
Yeah.
And
but I can't watch MTV. But
nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. I like how we went from opioids to MTV.
I don't even want to stop talking about opioids.
Yeah.
Well, pharmaceuticals in particular. I think it's overall. We just have to be more aware, and we have to build a higher level of consciousness. Like, start asking questions. Like, okay, a doctor is prescribing this. Why are you prescribing this? Like, or if it's you saying, I need this, like, ask yourself, why do you need it? What is the problem? Like, what are all the alternatives? Because there might be a better route. There's probably like 50 different routes that you can take.
We probably need to be a more open society amongst ourselves, as opposed, because that's another thing we don't want to tell people, like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm overweight, I'm lazy. So we don't want to open up. But if we did, we'd have more of a support group where, like, if you came and said, hey, man, I'm really depressed, where I could be, oh, man, knowing that I could help you out, as opposed to then going, man, I need Ambien or whatever.
And I think it's also, like, it's just a whole bunch of different dynamics. I think you take it back to, like, the basics of, like, human connection, eating right, drinking water, getting exercise, doing fun, being active, having fun, enjoying life, like for like the things that are actually enjoyable. I think we work ourselves to death, and we stress ourselves. We like think about the things that might not matter in 5 years more than we think about the things that will matter in 5 years. You know, like family or friends. Like we're stressing out about our job, or we're stressing out about how someone made us feel in this moment, or we're stressing out about our weight, or we're stressing out about not being where we think we should be in life. So sometimes some of us turn to these drugs, and it feels right, it feels good, and maybe it's the right decision, who knows. But because of that, like, I freaking lost my thought.
We look for the quick fix.
We look for the quick fix.
As opposed to
the long term, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's something that we need to think about a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole society does. I think people, we focus in on the right then and there. We're mad about this right now. Where, okay, that little thing, and I get trapped in that all the time. Like, something will happen, and I'll just erupt and be like so consumed with, like, rock hit my windshield on my car. Yeah. I'll be so mad about it and just be like focusing in on, and I'll be like so ticked for like 20-30 minutes, and my kids are in the car with me, and I'm mad about the stupid rock, and they're doing something hilarious.
Yeah, they can that could be like a moment.
Yeah, and I'm missing a memory because
that's where you're messing up. Don't ever do that again.
I know.
I never mess up. You always mess up.
I know. See, and now that hurts my feelings. I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I want an Ambien.
That's your problem. You have to figure it out.
Because that don't make me happy. So.
Yeah.
So. That's the thing. It's like we need to get off focusing on the short term, look at the long term, and figure out goals and where we want to be, and how we want to live.
Yeah, we're gonna, like, at the end of the day, we're gonna die eventually, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
but when
that's like that's really the worst thing, because like that's what scares me is that this like whatever this is right now, it's so much fun. Like I got to. Like, me and you are connected, all my family members, like, all these different friends that I have, like, that's what really matters the most is, like, human connection. And that, like, for me, like, that's my goal is, like, how big can we build human connection and, like, reverse where we're going. And, like, we're always on social media or, like, something's always going on where we can't, like,
yeah,
just chill for a second. If you're on like depressants or anything, check out yoga, or or if yoga's not your thing and you're Christian, check out church, you know. Or if you're not if you're an atheist but you want to work out, check out CrossFit. Like find people that you relate to and like be around people that you love, because that's gonna change it. That's the game changer.
Exactly.
Was that my mom?
That's your mom. You're connected to her.
What's up, Mom? I love you.
I love you.
So,
love you.
So I think that's it for this week, and we thank you for stopping by on the Iconoclast Speaks. Join us next week for another amazing show and topic.
Peace.
See ya.
The Iconoclast Speaks.